Previously on this channel, we had covered the #1 overall prospect at each respective position and even overall in the nation. But now we're going to move on to the #1 prospect in a state, and we're going to be starting off with one of the biggest states of them all when it comes to football, Florida, which is known by many as the speed state, so we're hoping to get a lot of speedy players in this video. We're starting off with a quarterback going to Alabama, Jamon Tiffin. As usual, we'll be following the careers of 25 players and hopping into any games to spectate them in the playoffs. I will be showing you their stats if they played, showing you their development throughout the years, where they are in the depth chart, and at the end we'll have, the big thing with the graphics and all the statistics that we accumulated throughout the entirety of this video. But every state's going to probably give us our own unique experience, so it's going to be fun to see where do players from this state typically like to go. How far do they venture out of state? If so, how far out do they go? Do they stay at home? What will each of these states produce? Will it be, a couple of core positions that they stick to, or will it be very, spread out and a lot of variety? I'm looking to see if Florida does produce the fastest players in the nation. You can already see right here, 99 speed cornerback is just our third player, so off to a good start there. Jamon Tiffin does get to start at Alabama, but he does not make the playoffs. Abel is going to go to Georgia, so pretty spread out so far. Alabama, Georgia, Miami, 3 different schools, 3 different players. Tiffin's looking pretty good at this point, so now he's going to be a second-year starter. You expect Alabama to make the playoffs pretty soon. Cesar Vasquez looking pretty fast himself as he continues to get a little bit better. And, I mean, off the bat, we got a 99 speed player, and he's going to be looking pretty decent if he could develop the rest of his skills, but that's already a nice start to get that. That is also 2 cornerbacks in a row, so second and third player. We're going to have our 4th player be a quarterback, so 2 corners, 2 quarterbacks, and going into the 4th season, we'll finally get some action here as Alabama gets a first-round bye, and not only that, Tiffin is going to end up finishing second in the Heisman, so super close for Tiffin to get a Heisman Trophy. Alabama's going to roll past Utah in the second round, so our first bit of action to actually see on the field is going to be against Miami, and Vasquez, who I don't think quite yet is seeing the field a significant amount, but Tiffin is going to be out here with a 3-point lead, 4 minutes to go, and a trip to the national championship on the line. He wants to go and make it all the way and prove that he should have been the Heisman winner, and a big play there is going to get him to the 20-yard line. Tiffin's got 3 touchdowns, and a handoff here on third down is going to get stopped 1 yard shy. They're not going to go for it. You could have gone for it there, maybe sealed up this game. They're going to take a 6-point lead, though, and leave it to Miami, who's going to get sacked here, and it's going to be 4th down and long. Dropping back to throw over the middle. That's going to be caught, and the game stays alive for a little bit longer. There's under a minute to play. An injury timeout helps them out a little bit as they're going to step up and throw one wide open, man, and he ducks out of bounds. Smart decision from him. 25 yards away from taking the lead, but he's going to get sacked again, the second of the drive. Now you got 3rd and long, little time to play, and you're setting up a screen, a questionable call. You have to hurry back to the line. 4th down and long, throwing it up, and it's going to be intercepted. They had to force one there, and it's going to go the other way. Alabama is going to a national championship, and Tiffin, I don't think he cares about the Heisman Trophy. He can get a ring on his finger, and he's going to have a lead here against Michigan. An 8-point lead, ball in his possession, screen set up, under 5 minutes to play. You can go on a lengthy drive here, put up some points on the board, make it a 2-score game. It could be over, and a nice decisive throw outside. He had in the face of pressure, got it out there, and now in enemy territory, rolling out, checking it down, wide open, man, gets a block, and he's going to get another 1st down. So Tiffin is managing this game phenomenally. Almost threw a pick there, though. His only bad throw of the drive. It's still going to lead to a field goal, so Alabama, 2-score lead, and Michigan needs to do something here, and it's not that. It cannot be an interception. Alabama is going to get another ceiling turnover and win the national championship, as Tiffin is going to be the first player in this video, and he is already going to be on his way to being one of the best players in this video. A great season, a national championship, and he is going to be coming back for another season. Georgia, meanwhile, is going to go and get themselves another guy back-to-back. They got the cornerback and a quarterback, so they're going to have a lot of speed on their team with a dual-threat QB and a 99 speed corner. Speaking of 99 speed corners, this guy has just been focusing on his speed, and he wants to get to that 99 speed mark. So a lot of speed already in this video, which you'll love to see. And now Abel and Odin are going to try to be a tag team duo on each side of the football to try to get themselves to a national championship. Tiffin is going to meanwhile try to go and replicate what he did last year. So we already got at least one really good player, and then the 5th player in this video is going to be another 99 speed corner. And this is really interesting. We've had a slot, a zone, and a man corner. Tiffin goes and wins the Heisman, so he gets a make right on what happened last year. He felt he should have won the Heisman. He gets it this year. They're in the playoffs in the first round against Rutgers, and Rutgers up by 2. But Tiffin has the football, and he is trying to deliver another national title and cap off a legendary career. If you can go win back-to-back national championships and a Heisman trophy, almost got 2 Heisman trophies, I mean, that's already a legendary career, but they're going to have to punt the football away and trust the defense with under 2 to go. He almost got a pick, but instead they'll just force the punt. 3rd down for Tiffin. He's looking, and he's just going to fire this ball out of bounds. Now you got game on the line here. 4th down. You don't want to get knocked out in the first round, and a shot deep is going to be incomplete. Now it's up to the defense once more, and they get a 3 and out. So Tiffin's getting some help here from the defense. The field goal is no good, and now Tiffin, wide open opportunity, just getting to field goal range. A 1st down there, under a minute to play. 45 seconds. He's going to throw one in traffic, incomplete. 3rd down and 10. Throwing one up the left sidelines. He's got it, and he's going to go all the way. So I guess it didn't matter if they made the field goal or not. It's going to be a touchdown for Alabama, and now Rutgers is throwing an interception. They tried to test one over the middle, and this Alabama defense, they did the job this time around. So the Heisman Trophy winning quarterback Tiffin did get a little bit bailed out. Now we get a national championship rematch here. It's 24-24 Alabama, Michigan in the Rose Bowl. Michigan now with the football, under 3 to go, and a shot over the middle is going to be caught for the 1st down, and Michigan is in control this time around. They got the football, an opportunity to take a lead, but you're getting sacked here. Now it's 3rd down and long. Defense trying to get off the field here. It's going to be a caught pass, and he's on the run, and Alabama's defense couldn't do it there. Minute and a half to go. Throw in another 1st down on the curl, and now Michigan running out the ball. Can they get it all the way down? It's looking like it, as it's going to be under 10 to play. A field goal is good, and Michigan 1 play away from successfully taking revenge as Tiffin trying to load up and throw one deep. He's got a catch, but he's not going to have the blocking set up, and it's going to be game over. They couldn't take Michigan down in back-to-back seasons, but Tiffin's going to leave with a Heisman Trophy and a national championship and a very nice career, a very nice 3-year run with Alabama, and it's going to be all he's going to really need to solidify himself as one of the best players that we'll probably see in this video. Cornerback goes to Florida, so 3 corners out of our first 5 players. That's really interesting, and all of them, by at least some point in their career, absolute monsters when it comes to speed. So at least we're living up to the speed state title and actually, you know, acknowledging that Florida does produce the fastest players in the nation. Now I want to see some other players like running backs, wide receivers, see if we can get some of those guys to be up there in the speed category. And you got to think with the amount of cornerbacks we are seeing so far, 3 out of the first 5, one of these guys got to come out here and do something. They're at a good enough school to do so. Florida, Miami, Georgia, one of these teams has to step in and make the playoffs. Next player, we got a defensive end, so something a little bit different this time around, and he's a power rusher, 81 speed, nice stuff there. We got playoff action, so look at that. Miami, not only do they get playoff action, Best DB award, 4 interceptions, and we'll see if he can get to 5 or more in this playoff run as they are taking on Penn State. It's a 1-point game, 29-28, 4 minutes to play, throwing a deep ball. He's got a deep pass, and you would expect the secondary with the best defensive back on it to not allow a big play like that, but they do. 2-point conversion is going to be in. The quarterback draw gets it. It'll be up to the Hurricane offense to come out here with a screenplay, trying to get themselves in a touchdown drive with 3 minutes to play. Dropping back to throw over the middle. The drag route for the tight ends got it for the 1st down. Now at the 45-yard line, dropping back a clean pocket, and he's got plenty of time. Eventually someone gets open, and he is wide open inside the red zone. Now dropping to throw again at the 10-yard line, and he's going to fire a pass over the middle, caught for the touchdown, and Penn State now in a tie game, minute and a half to play. He's getting sacked here. It's 3rd down and long. They're just going to go for the draw play, conservative, and the draw does get him a nice amount of yards, but they're really just playing field position, trying to play for overtime at this point, and a shot over the middle is going to be caught, and he is gone. Touchdown. They split the zone coverage, and now Penn State, they desperately need a touchdown drive, but they're getting sacked sacked here. 3rd and 14. What has he got? He's got a first down shot that was incomplete. Just missed him. And now 4th down, game on the line. And he's got a lot of time. They're only sending 3. Someone's eventually going to get open, and he does. He's got the first down and more, but you're down to 4 seconds. You got 1 play to go. It's a Hail Mary for the win. He's going to get it to the end zone. He got hit as he was throwing, and it is intercepted, taking it away. And Miami is going to survive, and they will be moving on to the next round. Semifinals was a pretty comfortable victory, 27-14 over Pitt, and going to the national championship, I mean, unfortunately for us, not a close one against Georgia, 29-13. But I mean, good for them. They went and cruised to a national championship. Very rare that we see a national championship these days. You know, that isn't one worth hopping into. Usually when we see a national championship, they're pretty good to hop into. But Vasquez goes in the first round, so Awen did his thing. We got our first 2 players of the video to win national championships. So Florida off to a hot start, and let's see if the rest of these players, we got 23 others to finish out a career, can follow through. We had another different destination for one of our Florida players. The recent recruit Chisholm went to Ohio State, so we'll see what he is able to produce for them. I am interested to see, though, how often do these players go out of state, and do they have a smaller crop of schools that they want to go to? Because obviously there's going to be a number of these players whose deal breaker is just going to be proximity to home. So obviously not for this guy if he's going up to Ohio State, but there's going to be a number of players where that is a deal breaker. And the top players in the nation and top players in states typically do have deal breakers. So we'll see what that does for them. Micah Oden, All-American, first round bye, so a little bit more action. Miami still doing good even after Vasquez left, but Georgia 28-0 over Utah. Utah's been a punching bag a little bit, and even though Tiffin isn't at Alabama anymore, Alabama's still doing their thing. It's 20-13, and let's see if Oden can go and make a comeback over his SEC rival as there is 5 minutes to play. He's dropping back to throw midfield, throwing a shot over the middle. That's going to be caught, and that's a touchdown. And that's going to be a tie game, so Micah Oden does his job in the defense trying to get a stop now, but the quarterback, the replacement for Jamon Tiffin, is going to run for a first down, 40-yard line. He's dropping back to throw, and he is rolling pressure all around him, but he is just a little bit faster, and look at the mobility from that guy to outrun 3 defenders, but it's 3rd and 11 now, and he's not outrunning anybody there. It's a sack, and Oden takes over. A lot of time came off the clock, but he is going to get sacked here, and now 3rd down. We could be going to overtime. Oden gonna run it. He gets a block, but he's not gonna get away from everybody. 30 seconds to play. 3rd down. Last opportunity potentially. Quarterback running it again, and he is going to get a first down. 3rd down once more. 16 seconds to play. Throwing a shot deep. That's going to be swatted away, so we are going to be going to overtime. It's going to be play action. Oden throwing. It's going to be end zone. Shot already. Corner pylon. He's got it. 1-play touchdown, and Alabama trying to respond. One of their own. Another 1-play touchdown for them. Back at a level playing field after 2 plays, and now 3rd down. Alabama has the football. They're running it for the first at about the 10-yard line. Now inside. 3rd down. Thrown back of the end zone. And I don't know if that was a touchdown, but they gave it to him. And a fumble here. The 2-point conversion is going to be an opportunity for Georgia to win this thing. 3rd down. He's breaking out of a sack, and Oden sliding down. 4th down. Opportunity to end this one for Alabama. He's going to try to run it again. He can't get it. And I don't know if that was a touchdown. I maybe need to see a replay or see a little slow-mo there. But that touchdown, it looked like he was out the back of the end zone, but they gave it to him. So it works out for Alabama, unfortunately for Oden. He'll have to come back for another season to see if he can do it again and get back to that spot. Speaking of Alabama, we got a prospect transferring there. Ebron, one of the corners that we've had early on this video, he's going to be going to Alabama. So nice of them to pick up another player. Abel and Oden back at it. Another tag team duo year for the offense and defense to have a great athlete on both sides of the football. Cam Ebron. We'll see if Georgia and Alabama run into each other again, and we get Oden versus Ebron. And then for Chisholm at Ohio State, he's going to be, getting in the rotation a little bit eventually, so we'll see if he eventually gets into the playoff mix. Next player, Quentin Shoemaker, is going to be at Miami, so Miami on the board with another player, and I think Miami probably will be the favorites to get the most amount of players, being the biggest school in the state of Florida at this point, at least in the game. And then the next player, defensive end. So a couple of defensive linemen. That's 3 in a row, I believe. And playoff action is upon us. Kentucky versus Georgia. and Georgia just wipes them out 41-7, and now another SEC opponent. Problem is while they have the football, they are down, and it's a run there. He's going to break out of the sack, and look at him go. That's a great run, but you need to score and score fast. You are down by 9 points. A shot there is going to be caught for the first down. Hurry him back to the line. Under 3 to go. Drop it back. Deep drop. He's going to go outside. That's going to be dropped. And that's just a bad drop. And now on 4th down, they're going to try a toss play. And I don't know about that play call. Georgia is going to lose this one. And they got to the second round, but again, just couldn't get the job done, as that drop was unfortunate, but you got yourself down by 9 points late in the game, and not really much you could do. But Odin, he'll be back for another season, so he's going to have one more chance at Georgia to see if he could go and win a national title. It'll be without his cornerback, #1 recruit in Florida. And Miami back at it again. 3rd player already going to Miami, and we're already starting to see Miami might be racking up some guys here. Odin is looking like he's at the peak of his powers. Cam Ebron, he's not getting a whole lot better. I mean, there's a lot of untapped potential here, but he's just not developing at that high rate. Chisholm, haven't seen him on the field yet. Ohio State has not, gotten to a point where he is a focal point of their team. Shoemaker, he got to play as a true freshman, which is nice for him. Now you wonder, is Miami going to have a dominant defensive line with these guys both being, potentially one on the edge, one on the interior, and having whoever else they may have on their team? But they got 2 guys back-to-back #1 recruit in Florida, and Miami is starting to rack things up here. Another player, defensive lineman again. And are we sure we're not doing a defensive line video? It's been a couple in a row, and Micah Odin has won a Heisman. So that's already 2 Heisman winners in this one. And Georgia, #1 seed, 1st round bye. They're taking on LSU, and Odin is going to be in a shootout here as a fumble is going to be recovered by LSU. 3 minutes to play. Defense needs to get a stop here, and the quarterback is going to get brought down. 4th down. Punt the football away. Odin's got 3 minutes. Good field position, and he's getting sacked. It's 3rd down and long. He's got to throw one up and see what he can do here. He's going to just try to take off and run. Does not get much, though. And with game on the line, potentially 4th down and 15. Ball is swatted down. LSU takes over. First play after taking it back. They're going to take the shot and throw for a touchdown. And LSU's going to knock out Georgia. So Micah Odin, I mean, he makes the playoffs 3 straight years, wins a Heisman Trophy, and he couldn't do much. I mean, 2 second-round exits and a first-round exit, and 2 of those years he had a first-round bye. So, I mean, that's going to be a career of a player who did a very good job in the regular season, but maybe just couldn't come up big in the playoffs, and regardless of what the situation may be, I mean, maybe his defense could have held him to less points. He's going to be a second-round pick, though, but that's going to be interesting for him. Alabama, on the other hand, Ebron's not going to get drafted. Ben Pinto is going to be going to Georgia, so no Miami getting another defensive lineman, and Georgia is on the board a couple of times here now with prospects. So Miami, Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State. When we've done the #1 overall player and the #1 player at certain positions, some teams will sneak in there. We've seen like North Texas or Rice, East Carolina. We've seen some like sneaky teams snag the top player. So will a sneaky Florida team snag a player? Like, will Florida Atlantic, Florida National, will one of those teams maybe snag a player? I don't know. We'll see. But next player, safety. At least it's not a defensive lineman. So a safety at this point. We've had safety, corner, D tackle, D end. So almost all the players on defense, all the positions on defense. Ohio State does make the playoffs, but Chisholm's injured. Tore his triceps, so hasn't played much this year. No point in hopping in if he's not going to be on the field. So not really much of a point to watch the game if he's not going to be there, and he would have only been there if they made the national championship. They didn't. So Miami is going to have a couple of defensive linemen playing now. Syracuse, so I mean, that's a out there team compared to what we've had. Syracuse getting involved, and then Ben Pinto, he wanted to transfer. I didn't see it in the portal because he wasn't a high enough star. I thought he'd be like a 4-star plus. Usually they are, but he transferred to Florida. So from Georgia to Florida, wants to go back home in his state. Both these defensive linemen looking really good, both 90 plus overall with the boost that they have. So Miami, like I said, a great defensive line. And then Syracuse safety, star development, Ty Rashad, looking like he has a lot of room to grow and become a great player. Syracuse is a little up and down in these simulations. Sometimes they become really good, sometimes they do a whole bunch of nothing. We'll see which end of the spectrum they fall on. A bust here, another cornerback. And for this season, Ty Rashad's not going to be a starter at Syracuse, but his team did end up making the playoffs, so we may get to see him in action. Obviously, it won't be this year because he's just not a starter, but it's at least a good sign that Syracuse is doing well so that they could potentially make the playoffs in a future season when he is the starter. No one, though, of significance made the playoffs. Miami, well, maybe underperforming a little bit. Chisholm doesn't really end up getting to see any significant action with us, as we don't get to actually see him. The one time we had a shot of seeing him, he was injured. Miami's defensive line, I mean, it's still looking pretty good, but they're one guy short. Ben Pinto transferred from Georgia to Florida. Now he's looking pretty solid himself. And Ty Rashad is getting a little bit better, and he'll probably be at the point where he could see significant playing time. He's the starting safety on the depth chart. But, you know, I have noticed with certain positions when I show the depth chart spot, especially like a defensive line, you know, because they have the rush DNs, rush interior, just because you're the starting defensive end, you're all a part of a rotation. Sometimes the players just don't get significant playing time. Our next guy, another bust, a defensive end, so another D lineman. We've seen 2 busts in a row, no gems at all yet, which is really weird, and Miami is in the playoffs, so one of the players is going to get to be on the field, and we're going to get to see them. It's Stanford 14, Miami 13, Miami with the football, and they are in enemy territory with 4 minutes to play. It'll be play action, drop him back, and he will go a shot over the middle, diving grab. He's got it in the red zone, 3rd down and 5. He's getting sacked, so a field goal try to take the lead will be up. It'll be good. So the offense does just enough. The defense done a good job so far up until this point. Only 14 points allowed, and now an interception. And not only that, it's a pick 6. So Miami is going to take home the victory. The defense does a great job, and they're going to move on to the next round. They're taking on New Mexico State. That's a new one. I don't usually see New Mexico State doing anything. Trust me when I tell you, I've done hundreds and hundreds of years of simulations. Very rarely do I ever see New Mexico State ever do good. Now, maybe part of the reason is because whenever I import team builders, New Mexico State's always one of the teams that I take out. But still, good on them for surviving one of these videos. And now they got a big play here. They're going to take it all the way. So close inside the 5, under a minute to play, trying to tie this game. And they got it for the touchdown. They're going to kick the extra point. We're going to overtime. New Mexico State, I know they're the high seed, but this is definitely an upset if New Mexico State's going to come out here and win another playoff game, as they got to play here inside the 15-yard line. Miami's got to tie this thing up. They're going to roll right into a sack. It's 2nd down and long, dropping to throw. He's got to make a big play here, and he's got it in traffic. Touchdown, Miami. Now they got to go out there and do it again, but they're throwing an interception, and New Mexico State can win this game right now. They're going to drop back, play action, and he's rolling, throwing, and caught. He's going to find into the end zone. New Mexico State has just won in the 2nd round of the playoffs. I would have showed you if they won the national title. They didn't, but I mean, still impressive enough for them to get that far, getting to the semifinals. And Miami, I mean, that's a little disappointing to lose to New Mexico State, and now all the defensive linemen are gone, and they're not going to get anything out of it. But they're going to reload and get another defensive lineman, so I think they're doing okay. Eventually, they're going to do something, right? I mean, they won a national championship earlier in the video, so I'm not going to act like they haven't won anything, but I mean, while they had those defensive linemen, they could have had a little bit more success, but fortunately not. Ty Rashad, I mean, as soon as he got to be a starter, Syracuse started to not do good. This defensive lineman was a bust, so he isn't going to be a star or elite dev player, but at least he is an impact. And so far up until this point, we've had all, 5-star players and everything. And finally, we got our first gem, Montel Cook, and he's a wide receiver, and he's a route runner with good speed, and he's not incredibly short. Ben Pinto broke his tibia. He's done for because this game does have a little issue that they need to fix, because when a player sustains a season-ending injury, for those of you who don't know, they do have an issue where it rolls over into the next season for some reason. And look at Miami, another one on the board for them. But as you can see here, we advance to the next season. A 22-week injury going into next season is still a 12-week injury. Now, the math ain't checking out there, because the season ends in January and then the season starts the following, fall. That's a lot more than 10 weeks. So there's something a little off there, and the game needs to kind of fix that. But interestingly enough, I want to highlight Montel Cook because, one, he is a route running receiver, and if you've seen these videos in the past, you'll know route runners are just low overalls. The route runners are the lowest overall archetypes you can get. They start off really bad, but they also at times have the highest ceiling and become really good if you give them the opportunity. But there are a number of problems with route running receivers in this game, something I'd like to be fixed here, as we'll see Florida not really do much in the first round of the playoffs. But when it comes to these route running receivers, I do have an issue with the fact that like there are so many route running receivers that are like 5'6", 5'7", and they have like 87 speed. So to see him be 6'2" with 95 speed as a route running archetype, that is so rare if you've played this game a lot, and like for them to actually be like competent. And look at Miami. I mean, they're over here getting another player. That's what, 3 in a row, and they got a quarterback. So now they got a quarterback and a wide receiver. But I'm really interested to see what Montel Cook's going to be, because he is a rare breed of wide receiver that we have seen in these types of videos. And when it comes to him, I mean, he got a little bit better. He's already up to a 79 overall. So like I said, they start off so low. We've seen multiple instances where these players start off as like 70 overalls. And I mean, the number 1 prospect video was hilarious with how bad a number 1 overall prospect was. That was a route running wide receiver. But we're immediately back to the busts. I mean, 1 gem so far, a couple of busts, a couple of them recently as well. But it's been really weird to see the distribution of gems and busts in this one. This one's definitely been a lot different. And look at that, we got a very odd landing spot. Iowa State. Now, the thing about Iowa State is I don't ever see them involved in these videos, and they go and snag the best player in Florida. Now, the thing about him was his deal breaker was play style, and when you get a play style deal breaker, that dude could literally end up anywhere. Montel Cook, looking really good. Miami better be out here doing something. They got a defensive end, they got a wide receiver, they got a quarterback. They better go and succeed, because they got players, and I want to watch them play. If they're all going to be at Miami, they better go out here and make the playoffs, or else we're just never going to see any of them play. But Ben Etienne is going to be at Iowa State, so we'll see what he does. He'll probably end up transferring, because play style being a deal breaker for a player just means they end up going crazy and transferring and just refusing to settle down in one area. Next season sees Bill Bragg. He's going to have a torn pectoral, but Miami does make the playoffs, so we'll get to see Montel Cook in action at least, and they're taking on LSU, but it's going to be with a backup quarterback, as it's going to be a shot deep, intercepted on the first play. We watched 3 minutes to go, and Miami has the lead, and now they have the football. Can they go and make a national championship with a backup quarterback, as they're going to throw one outside that's going to be caught inside the 40-yard line, and they're already on track to potentially run the clock out, win this game, maybe even kick a field goal here, but they're going to end up punting the football. Conservative play there. They're going to give LSU a shot to tie this game up with under a minute to play, and LSU throwing one outside that's going to be caught for the first down. They're in enemy territory, so now 40 seconds to play, and he's going to throw one outside over the head of everybody. 4th down, last chance, now dropping way far back. He's going to have to get rid of that football, and he does, and it's splitting 2 defenders. What a throw in between 2 guys, and now we're in overtime. Miami trying not to choke this game away. They're getting a sack here on 3rd down. It's going to make it a long field goal try. Kick is on the way. It is good. Miami can win it with a touchdown, but now they hand it off to the running back, who's going to get the first down. They got to come out of this one with a victory. Miami's been underperforming since that national championship, and they get the touchdown here. And they're going to hope they don't run into New Mexico State or something again, as they're going to be moving on to the 2nd round. Obviously not going to be having their quarterback the rest of the way, but can they do it with a backup? It's 44-36 against rival Florida State. And we'll see if they can come out here and win this shootout, as Florida State's got a big play and now threatening to go up by 2 scores. Quarterback rolling. He's sacked. He's fumbling the football, and Miami has it. And now they got a chance. They need a touchdown, 2-point conversion. Screen set up. Running back has it, and he's jumping over a down defender, and he's got the first down. It's 2nd down and 3. He's throwing one short. Got the completion. Runs ahead for a couple more yards. It's 3rd down and 5. Now he's going to throw over the middle in traffic. It's incomplete. 4th down. You got to go for it here. Throwing one, and that's going to be caught on the curl. He's got it. The drive just keeps on moving. Minute 25 to go, and he's going to get sacked. It looks like he broke away from 1, not 2. It's going to be 3rd down and long. He's got to come up with a big play here. He's just going to throw the football out of bounds. He almost took another sack. A minute to go. Last chance. 4th and 17. Go into the end zone. It's incomplete, and Florida State's going to come out here with a victory. So Miami, once again, struggling to get past the 2nd round, but at least we have the excuse that their quarterback was injured. So, I mean, that's at least a valid excuse. Unfortunately for that, it's going to result in him missing some time next year because of the whole injury issue. He had a okay season, not great, but still. Montel Cook had a phenomenal season, and we're going to see Tyson Jewell get drafted, another cornerback here. He's going to be going to Clemson this time. Montel Cook is looking awesome, and he's, you know, at that kind of borderline. We'll see if he declares, we'll see if he doesn't. But Bill Bragg, if they do make the playoffs, he will be back, but he's going to miss about half or more of the season. Unfortunate there, but that's just a little bug that the game's got to figure out. This game is really good, but it does have a couple of issues, and maybe at some point, if there is interest, I could make a video, because like I've said before, I have done so much extensive simulation and time spent in this game. I do think I have a pretty good grasp on what the game is like and what needs to be improved, what needs to be changed, what needs to be, you know, edited. So if you want something like that, maybe at some point I could. But, you know, as we focus on this video, they don't make the playoffs of this season. Montel Cook has a bit of a down year. And again, it's because Bragg was missing time. I mean, he had a better season. He played a little bit more, but he didn't have their quarterback. So, I mean, literally that bug kind of prevented them from probably making the playoffs because they didn't have their guy. Montel Cook, though, thankfully he came back for another season, and he is looking monstrous. He is unbelievable. Bragg, I mean, he's finally going to get to play, so hopefully he stays healthy and he's going to be able to play a full season, and we'll get to see these guys actually together and actually playing in the playoffs together on the field at the same time. But I also want to ask you guys if you could like and subscribe, comment, all that good stuff to support the video as I continue to get these out. I try to, you know, get 3 videos out a week, and it's a lot of time spent. And if I want to make this a full-time thing, make this my job, make this my life, all the support possible will help out as I try to get to that point where I can make even more stuff and make bigger and better videos for you guys. But moving on to the next season, Miami is the 1 seed, as they do deserve to be with this team finally back in full capacity. Clemson also made it, dominated in the first round. So we got Clemson and Miami. We have Bragg, we have Cook, and we have a cornerback out there trying to cover Montel Cook, as Bragg is going to move and get sacked. He tried to throw the ball, he got hit, and now 3rd down and 19. He's moving backwards, and he's getting sacked. It's 4th and 30. They're punting it away, and now Clemson on offense, they got to pass out their first down caught. It is 10-10, under 2 minutes to play, and he's getting sacked. It's a lot of pressure from both sides here as Bragg is going to throw one out. That's going to be caught, and there's Montel Cook, and Montel Cook, he's going to go all the way inside the 5, down to the 1-yard line. Almost got in. Just punch it in here. They do, but there's a flag down. And this one's coming back with a hold. So Montel Cook, he got 1 yard short, and now a holding penalty is going to cost them a chance at a touchdown. And Clemson, the door's wide open for them with over a minute to play. Already starting off with a big one. And is he going to go all the way in one play? Yes, he will. Touchdown. And that holding penalty could have costed them the entire playoff run. But not if Montel Cook has something to say about it. To catch their 40-yard line. Throwing one on the opposite side. They got another good receiver too, and he's going to go up and make a grab. 25-yard line, 2nd down and 10. Throwing middle, caught. He dove in for the touchdown, and Miami's back on top. 20 seconds to play, and an interception. Defense sails it, and Montel Cook did everything he could in that one. Big play got him to the 1-yard line. Clutch catch to get him to the 40 to set him up. Now they're going to the national championship after dominating Cincinnati, and now against Florida. A 31-31 game with 4 minutes to play, and Florida's going to get stopped, punt the football away, and a shot deep from Bragg is going to be caught, and he breaks the tackle, and he's going to go 38-31, Miami on top. Defense time to try to seal this one up, and a big run here from Florida is going to get him to about the 35-yard line. Man in motion, they're going to snap it, throw middle of the tight end, caught for the first down, and now under 3 to go, nearing midfield. They're going to throw one underneath, caught by the tight end once again, and getting him the ball a couple of times here as they are now in enemy territory. Another shot over the middle, caught, broken tackle, and he's inside the 15-yard line. Minute 20 to go as Florida throwing one, end zone, touchdown, and it's going to be up to the Miami offense to try to win this one in regulation or face overtime, as it's going to be a grab there. And both of these receivers are doing a phenomenal job as they're going to try to test one, and it's going to be intercepted, and Miami might have thrown this game away. Bill Bragg watching his defense allow a first down, and that first down is going to allow them to run out the clock, kick the field goal, and Miami's going to lose. And that's just unfortunate. I mean, Bragg threw the interception, and look at Montel Cook. He also ran the ball decently. I mean, that is an incredible player, an incredible wide receiver, and it does at least show you that route runners are not completely useless. I know a lot of people, if you scout and bring in a route runner, you just see the low overall, and you think, oh, they're useless, but there are instances where you should be going after route runners, and they are worth it at times if you are willing to wait and not throw them in there as true freshmen. I do really like route runners. I just think they need to be kind of buffed a little bit at their floor because they are basically unusable in their first season, and most of the time they are short and slow, but Montel Cook was an exception to the rule, being 6'2" with 95 speed, and then he developed into a monster. So we got another defensive lineman. He went to Georgia, and his name is Jonathan John, but he looks like a Jonathan John if you were to just conjure up a generic-looking white dude and then name him the most generic name ever. There you go, but he might be a good player one day. We have a linebacker up next, it looks like. He's an athlete, so our first athlete and our first potential middle linebacker, as we have Clemson back in the playoffs. They got a couple of guys here. They got the cornerback, they got a D-tackle, and we'll see if that's going to be enough to get them to the next round of the playoffs. They are here on the road at Penn State, and Penn State running one, and the quarterback's going to go into the end zone. Now the offense is going to be tasked with trying to win this game with 2 minutes to play, and 2-minute warning has hit. Now 3rd down and 5, minute and a half to go, as they're going to throw one underneath their own enemy territory. 40-yard line, just about, throwing another little short pass, and he's going to turn it up ahead for the first down. So they're moving the ball very slowly, very effectively, and now another shot over the middle is going to be caught for the first down. 2nd down now in 3, and he's got it, and he's diving in. Defense, you just got to do your job. Hold them as a 2-point conversion. You get a little 3-point cushion, so if you could just hold on here, you should be at least not worrying about losing this game, but you could be going to overtime here. 40 seconds to play. Throwing underneath. That's going to be caught. Turning up ahead for the first down. They're going to burn the timeout. 3rd down and 14. Throwing one. Caught, and he's going to fight ahead for the first down. Still need to get a bit closer as they're going to throw one outside. Caught, and there's a flag down, and this one is big. It's going to be on Clemson, pass interference. They're going to decline it, though. Not going to take any other risk, just sending the field goal unit out, and we are going to overtime. I've had a number of overtime games in this video. How will this one go as Clemson is getting sacked here? And now they got a long way to go. 3rd down and long. They're going to go throw underneath. Just make the field goal a little bit easier, I guess. But now they're going to rely on that defense that does have a defensive tackle, a cornerback, a couple of nice players. And those nice players are going to help lead this defense into sealing this game. And it doesn't matter if he scored, doesn't matter how far he got. The fact is he got the football and he got his team the victory. And now you're moving on to a game against Nebraska where you are down by 7, throwing one outside. That's caught. Nice grab in traffic as now a sweep is going to be blown up. 4th down and 4. You got to go for it, though, as you're trying to move the chains. Keep this game alive, and they cannot do it. I know it looked like a catch there, but it just wasn't, as there's something, a little goofy with the fact that, when the 2-minute warning pops up, you just basically can't see what's going on. But Miami, on the other side of things, is going out there beating Boise State, so now they got to make up a comeback against Texas, and Texas is trying to go up by 2 scores, and Miami down by 7. Texas in the red zone, throwing one out the back of the end zone, incomplete. But the field goal is going to be up and good, and any last hopes of trying to get a victory down by 2 scores is going to go away as Texas wins, and the career of Bill Bragg is going to be one of maybe what if. I mean, he had a nice career, but threw a pick in the national championship to basically lose the game, and had 2 of his years, his first 2 years, essentially derailed by injury. I mean, an injury in the first half of his first season made him miss half of his second season. In turn, that potentially made them miss the playoffs in his second season, and then his only real chance came in his 3rd and 4th season. Still, he had opportunities, couldn't get it done. And I guess that little phase of Miami has moved on. As Jonathan John, I mean, he didn't even really play, but hey, look at him going up +9 overalls Absolutely monster jump for him. And we have a linebacker going to Auburn. So Auburn on the board for the first time in this video, as Ty Hawker is going to be a linebacker for them. And we'll see if we can see him on the field at some point. Another bust here. This has been a weird one. Like, there's been a number of busts, only one gem. A lot of defensive players. Now, that's another linebacker. So now we have seen a position, every spot on defense has been showcased, basically. I mean, D-tackle, DN, inside linebacker, outside linebacker, corner, safety. We've gotten it all. And Auburn's going back-to-back. We also had a transfer here. Shudak, after, I guess, watching his teammate cornerback go pro, he says, I don't want to be here anymore. I'm going to Florida. And Jonathan John, I don't know what they're injecting at Georgia, what kind of steroids they got over there, but he is now a 94 overall, and he's basically not played. He's essentially not played at all, and he's gone up 9 overalls, and then he went up like another 8 overall. Like, he is just absolutely taken off, and he's, I guess, finally going to play this season. And now Auburn, I mean, he was a bust, and he is a normal development player, but I mean, maybe you're building up a nice linebacking core to go through, and look at another bust. What is going on with the state of Florida? Are they okay? Is this just a bad group of guys that I'm getting here? Jonathan John, I mean, I would also like to see this game edit some stuff in the sense of there's a lot of instances where players do make All-American just because of their high overall, and they don't really do it based on performance. Well, you know, a lot of the times players will make it to the All-Americans based on team success or overall. Marcus, I mean, he's a bust, and he's going to Auburn too. So Auburn, 3 in a row, but 2 of them are busts. Ty Hawker's looking pretty good, so good for him. Despite being a normal development, I mean, he's at least progressing adequately, and I guess he's a co-star for that linebacker. And then they got another player, defensive end, Doug Marcus, who is an impact. So, I mean, if you got the #1 player in the state of Florida for 3 straight years, and it's still a nice haul to get, but I mean, you'd like to be a little bit more. We have a safety now, so a free safety, another defensive player. It's been a lot, and Auburn is in the playoffs. I mean, if you get that much high-quality talent, even if their developments aren't as good as you'd hope they'd be, the expectation is still come out here and make the playoffs contend. You should have a good defense with all these players out there, and plus whoever else you had already, as they're going to get an interception, and Auburn taking the football away. 2 minutes to play. Opportunity to end this one with a run here. Not going to happen. They're going to put the football, and Florida's going to have a chance to come out here and score a touchdown to win the game. Field goal to tie it, send it to overtime. It's going to be 4th down. Throwing it deep. He took a shot, and look at that. He took a shot, delivered a beautiful ball, and the defender couldn't hit the swat. That was beautiful from the quarterback. Whoever that guy is, you need to give him all the NIL money for taking that shot and delivering. And now Auburn trying to respond in double coverage. Touchdown, Auburn. And Florida's quarterback's got to go ahead and do it again. Unfortunately for him, it's the last play of the game, and he's not going to get some magical one-play touchdown. The game is over, and Auburn moves on to the next round. They're taking on West Virginia in a much lower scoring game, 13-10. West Virginia has the football, though. So they're going to throw one over the middle on the RPO. Caught for the first down past midfield. Dropping back once again. Clean pocket, lots of time. Someone's going to get open, and that wasn't even really open, but he fit that in there. What a throw and catch inside the 10-yard line. Now he's getting sacked. And that's a massive stop to hold them to the field goal, keep it a 1-score game, and give the Auburn offense a chance. But the blitz is sent in, free rusher, they send more than they can protect, and a sack there. It's 4th down and very long, throwing one up the seam in double coverage. It's incomplete. And West Virginia is able to tack on points, make it a 2-score game, win it. And now we're moving on to another offseason. But this defense, I mean, got potential here. You got 3 guys and make it 4. I don't know how this has happened. 4 in a row. Auburn, before these 4 guys hadn't, even participated in this video. And now they've gone out here and gotten 4 defenders in a row. And for a normal development guy, I mean, 88 overall, that's really good. It's not often that you see a normal dev player get up that high, but you got 2 legit linebackers, a decent rotation end, and a safety who's actually going to be playing for them. So that's 4 players on your defense that are going to be #1 players from Florida, and Auburn's the only team we have actively a part of this video. Every other team is just letting Auburn get all these players, and another cornerback, and unfortunately another bust. This is just a wild series of players that we're getting. I don't know if Florida's a good state to recruit in at this point, as they're going to be Auburn in the playoffs again. No surprise here, taking on NC State, a 20-15 game as NC State's got to pass over the middle, caught for the first down. Creeping closer to the end zone here with 2 minutes to go. It's 4th down, and they're going to get a shot over the middle, and he hung on to that one. What a play from him, and it's going to help NC State get inside the 5, 2nd down and goal, handing it off, and that 4th down grab that he made to just not drop that football. So many times you see that happen, and they are dropping that ball. So that is a potential game winner there as 21-20. They missed the 2-point conversion. A field goal can win it, and a fumble immediately is going to give it the other way to NC State. And this Auburn defense, I mean, only 21 points allowed. You can win a game if you only allow 21, but it's just the offense couldn't do their job. I mean, maybe start recruiting some offensive players, as the defense, they all played, they all participated, they all did their thing. Just wasn't good enough to get them past the, second round as they get knocked out in the first round here. Ty Hawker, the best of the bunch, he's going to go to the draft. Florida's going to snag the cornerback, so Auburn finally not, getting another player. Their streak has come to an end here. But this dude, I mean, for normal development, in these videos, we don't run into normal developments all that often, but for normal, pretty good, 88 overall, and the safety's getting up there, defensive end's getting up there. It's just weird that this has been such an odd set of players that we've gotten. Just busts, corners, not a lot of offense. I mean, it's been a while since we've seen quarterback, only had 1 receiver, no running backs, no tight ends, no offensive linemen. It's been really defensive oriented, but the best players still have been offensive. We have a wide receiver here. Finally, it took us a while, but we got one. No playoffs for Auburn in the next season, so, after losing that middle linebacker, obviously it hurt things, and Marcus isn't, lighting the world on fire. The safety's doing all right. The other linebacker's doing all right. The players are fine. They're not spectacular. Carden, like I said, finally a wide receiver, so get some action here, some excitement, and he's going to be going to Clemson, so that's going to be fun to see what he can do. I mean, we have had 1 wide receiver in this video, and he was awesome. He was amazing, and we're going to hope that he can live up to the standards of Montel Cook, and see if Clemson can get involved in the video. But that's our second to last player, so we're already closing in on the end here. We've seen 2 Heisman Trophy winners. We've seen some national championship victories, some good corners, some bad corners, busts, a lot of busts, 1 gem. And we're going to see what this last player has in store for us, as Carden looks actually really good. So, here's hoping that he's going to be great. And then the last guy, his name's Legend, so maybe that's a good sign. If you're going to be named Legend, you better be a legend. So Auburn, now they're kind of underwhelming a bit. They didn't make the playoffs once again. Now the defensive players are kind of finding their way out. They've now gone through 2 linebackers because he's going to be off to the NFL. And, I do think it's a nice achievement that he did get drafted despite being a normal development. And look at that. I mean, now Clemson's going to be the team we're focusing on, because while Marcus is pretty good now and the safety is still, an adequate starter, I mean, we got a wide receiver and a defensive end on Clemson, not busts, not bums, not normal dev players. Carden, the wide receiver, had elite development, so it's been pretty rare to get elite in this video, which has also been weird. We're going to see a lot of different stuff when it comes to the overall statistics video. It's going to be looking a lot different, but look at that. Legend is a elite development too. And because that, I think he has earned the right for me to actually try to pronounce his name. I'm going to give it a try here. Iguanagu is what I'm going to go with. I think that's how you pronounce it. Clemson is in the playoffs, and they are going to be, at least with Carden and Iguanagu as starters, because he's going to be a true freshman starter. Carden, now a redshirt freshman starter, so we're going to see just how far can these guys go. It's a 17-12 game. We've seen a number of times in this video where players have kind of teamed up, gone back-to-back, and in Auburn's case, 4 in a row, and we're going to see if this can be the dynamic duo to get the job done, as Stanford has taken the lead, and a 2-point conversion run is going to get them a 3-point lead. So now it's going to be up to the Clemson offense and see if he can get the ball to Carden. He's going to be running, though, and he's going to get the first down. Not even slide. It's 3rd down and inches. They're going to run the football again. You have plenty of time, so you can afford to run it. Run this clock down. The quarterback's going to take off again, and he's going to slide down. Now at the 30-yard line, throwing over the middle. Caught, first down at about the 21-yard line. First down and 10 again, minute 15 to go outside. Now you got a receiver involved, and that's a first down goal to go inside the 10. Second down and goal now outside. Going to be caught on the screen, and he's in for the touchdown. Clemson holding on for one more minute, and if you can do that, you'll be on to the next round. Timeout used there, second down and 14, as the quarterback's going to step up and get sacked. Third down and long. He's going to get sacked again. And that's going to be a sandwich there. Fourth down and long. Game on the line. 20 seconds to play. It's swatted down. Clemson wins it. They're moving on to the semifinals. And they got it done with that quarterback running the ball quite a bit. They're down by 8 against Oklahoma, so a tough spot to be in, especially when Oklahoma has the football, and they are now in enemy territory and running the football, running this clock. 5 minutes to play, 4.5 now, throwing one for the end zone, and it's a touchdown. Oklahoma has a 2-score lead. Clemson, they need to do something and do something fast, and they got a big play there. Two guys chasing him. Will he be caught? He's gonna get all the way down inside the 20, but he did get caught, and now all the way down here, 4th and 12 again, and they're not gonna be able to do it this time. It was desperation mode, and they just couldn't do it. If that receiver was able to outrun his way all the way to the end zone, that would have been great, but instead, no, doesn't happen. Marcus, big final season, so he was pretty okay for the first couple of seasons. Last year, though, really stepped it up somehow. 17.5 sacks, wasn't even good enough to make All-American. Carden, 1,000 yards, double-digit touchdowns, good on him. Iguanagu with 6.5 sacks as a true freshman, pretty good stuff there. Marcus is going to go in and get himself drafted in day 2. And Jamar Coates, I mean, I have not spoken of this dude's name yet because he's just weirdly not getting better. I don't know what's up with that dude, but, like, he's just not getting better despite not having, like, it's not like he's normal dev or anything. Like, he's got good dev trait. I don't know what's going on with him, but he can't even see the field right now, it seems like, as both of these guys at Clemson not going to make the playoffs this year. That's a little unfortunate, but hey, New Mexico State, look at them, 12th seed to the championship, and that's impressive because you seen earlier in this video, New Mexico State, they made it to the semifinals. I don't know what happened in this Dynasty save file where they're going out here and doing some great stuff, but we see our first and only cut of the video. Coates, I mean, he made it to like his final season, but he just kept falling down the depth chart because he kept going up by 1 overall. So honestly, it's a valid cut. Like, that's actually a pretty valid cut, and I've tried to make sure cuts didn't happen in these videos anymore, but look at this, 61 touchdown Heisman. A lot of crazy stuff is happening to end this video, because look at this, 22 returns, 3 touchdowns. Who are you? Who's Matt Landry? He's going to be helping us into the playoffs, as all we have is Carden and Iguanagu left. They go and shut out Toledo in the first round, and this is going to be moving on to the second round. Navy, 49-27, dominant. I don't know what kind of playoffs we are in where we're going from Toledo to Navy to UConn. This is one of the weirdest playoff runs I have had to see, as it's going to be a sack there, 31-24. UConn on 3rd down and long, taking a shot deep, and it's going to be incomplete. The receiver was not ready for that one, I guess. And now Clemson's got the football and a chance to end this game. Nice grab there as the quarterback's dropping back. He's going to throw over the middle. Caught. First down. Now inside the 35. 3rd down and 6. He's going to throw over the middle. Caught. And he falls backwards and gets the first down. Good job there as a pass over the middle is going to be caught. It's goal to go. Timeouts are being used. Throwing one wide open. And that's going to be the game sealer. UConn does score a touchdown at the very end, but I mean, there wasn't anything left they could really do. Now in the national championship, it's against USC. It's 24-19. And now can Carden and Iguanagu end their careers that end this video with a national championship? This drive could be the one to do it as they throw over the middle. It's going to be caught first down. So in enemy territory, a field goal keeps it a 1-score game. Touchdown likely wins it. A first down here. Still plenty of time for USC to get a stop. Throwing one outside. That's going to be caught. First down, and Clemson moving the ball very well. 4th down and 1, they're going for it, and they get it. And look at what Clemson was able to do. I mean, they went for it on 4th down. That is a bold call, and it basically could win them the national championship here. And with that sack, it's going to win them the national title. They're going to try to hurry back to the line for one more play. I don't think they're going to make it in time. Clock is ticking down, and they can't get it off. Clemson wins it. What a final drive from them. I mean, that was bold to go for it on 4th and 1. Could have kicked the field goal, just giving them like 2 minutes to go. and they didn't want to do it. And look at Iguanagu. That's a monstrous season. Carden, monstrous season. And the weird thing is Carden goes, he gets first round pick, obviously. Iguanagu wanted to come back for another season to prove. Honestly, I don't know what he wants to prove. He was already going to be a slam dunk first round pick, got a championship, got everything. He goes and puts up another monstrous season to just pad the statistics. So that's going to do it for the simulation, all 25 players' careers. Let's get into all the fun stats and the statistics, the final results right now. Usually we'd start off with the location of these players, but obviously doing it in the state of Florida, all the players are from Florida, so we're just going to change this to where they ended up landing. Where did these top players end up going? Miami, no surprise, the top location for them. It's the biggest team in the state of Florida, so them getting a quarter of them, not a shock there. And then we had some odd results the rest of the way. I mean, Auburn had 4, but all of them came in a row. Clemson had 4. 2 of the final ones were them back-to-back. Florida had 3, Georgia had 4, and then a couple of one-offs, Alabama, Ohio State, and then Syracuse and Iowa State were the only outlier weird spots that players landed. Then when it comes to the positions, a lot of defense, 6 corners, 6 defensive ends, and then, you know, everywhere else was pretty spread out. 3 quarterbacks, 3 D tackles, 2 receivers, 2 safeties, 2 outside linebackers, a middle linebacker, but as you can see, just 5 offensive players, no offensive linemen, no running backs, no tight ends, but at least every position on defense was represented, so that's really interesting. Florida producing 20 out of 25 defensive players. And probably this is the biggest, like, odd graphic of them all that I've done in these videos, because if you were to compare all the other number 1 position, number 1 in whatever videos, this is way different than all the other ones. 4%, so just one gem out of 25, but 6 busts. I don't know if Florida's just stinking it up or what's going on here, but that is a awful, by far the worst ratio we have gotten. And then when you look at the developments, I mean, just stars all across the board. That's pretty good to have 70+% be star or elite. That's a good percentage, but still, like, the severe lack of elite talent, because funnily enough, 2 of the 3 were the final 2 players. Carden and Iguanagu were both elite dev players. Those were the final 2 players. The first 23, we got 1 elite. And then a lot of stars, 2 normals, and then a couple of impacts. So it was a really rough time when it came to the developments and the busts and the gems. Then taking a peek at the development path, it still wasn't that bad, as much as you'd maybe think when it comes to the fact that we had so many busts, couple of impact and normal players. Still had a guy as high as an 81 overall. Lowest start was 72, but that was like arguably the best player we had because it was a route running receiver who had good development. Highest final overall, weirdly enough, it was the player who played the least amount. It was Jonathan John, who only played, 3 seasons, only started 1 year, but I don't know what Georgia had going on down there. Lowest final overall. That cornerback only jumped up 3 overalls in his career, the Coates guy from Florida. That dude, you gotta be a special kind of bad to get cut as a 5th-year senior and to only grow 3 overalls throughout your entire career. He wasn't even like a normal or impact dev or anything. He was actually pretty competent walking in. He just never got better. And then plus 21 overalls for Montel Cook, amazing player. We had a +9, couple of +9s, I think 1 or 2, maybe other ones that we had, but the development path, not bad that by your 4th year, 87 overall, that's basically a draftable player, and we had a couple of other guys dragging down the overalls, but overall, I think the development path was pretty solid on these guys. And then the other bits of info, we have 76% of the players ended up getting drafted, 19 out of 25, that's pretty solid. 7 out of the 25 were first rounders. Again, pretty solid, pretty fair stuff there. 9 of them made it to a 5th season. 7 of them did make it to a 90+ overall, which is probably the guys who ended up being first-round picks. 5 of them made All-American, so not a crazy amount. And then 2 of them won Heisman. We only had 5 offensive players the entire video, but 2 of them ended up winning Heisman. So, if you got an offensive player from Florida, all of them were pretty good. And then we had things off with the best of the best, and like I said, only 5 offensive players, but they were pretty good. 4 of them here in the best of the best. Tiffin, national champion, Heisman winner. Odin, not a lot of playoff success, but a Heisman winner. Montel Cook, my favorite player in this video. He was awesome. 4,000+ yards, 50+ touchdowns in his career. Involved in the receiving game and in the run game. Carden, not as good as Montel Cook, but is still really nice receiver. Had 3 good seasons. And then, despite all the defensive players, not a lot of them showcased here, but Iguanagu was insane. 4 seasons of just incredible sack totals, 55 sacks in 50 games. Just an absolute monster. A lot of the corners were pretty underwhelming. One of them did win Best DB, but not a lot of success from a lot of the defensive players that we had in this video. So that'll wrap things up, and let me know what you guys all think. Let me know if you guys enjoyed, what states you want to see next, what video types that you want to see next, and all that other good stuff. Like, comment, and subscribe. All that stuff is super helpful for me to continue to get these videos out. And like I said, I want to make this my full-time job, my full-time thing that I do. Get bigger, better, more videos out to you guys, get you guys involved in them as I continue to try to, you know, build a community, build a larger following. So hopefully that all happens, and I will see you guys all in the next one.